Okay. We have Vav Aleph.
Yep.
One who makes a neder prohibiting what is cooked is permitted what is roasted and what is overcooked. If he said, Kohanim cooked food with respect to my tasting, it, he is forbidden to taste soft food made in a pot, but is permitted to taste solids. He is permitted to taste hot, soft-boiled eggs and a gourd baked in hot ashes. One who makes a neder prohibiting something prepared in a pot is forbidden only with boiled food. If he said, Kohanim, what goes into a pot with respect to my tasting it, he is forbidden whatever is cooked in a pot. If he prohibited the preserved food, he is forbidden only preserved vegetables. Preserved food with respect to my tasting, he is forbidden all preserved food. The seed food, he is forbidden only seed meat. Seed food with respect to my tasting, he is forbidden all seed foods. The roast, he is forbidden only roasted meat. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. Roast with respect to my tasting is forbidden all roasted foods. The salted food, he is forbidden only salted fish. Salted food with respect to my tasting, he is forbidden all salted foods. Okay.
Right. The point, by the way, is not about the that I, with respect to my tasting. The point is the hey, the definite article in front of each thing. If he says it's another, so if he says, I mean, hakavush, then hakavush is specifically about this subcategory of pickled things. But if he just says kavush, anything that means like anything that's pickled. So and so on with all these other cases. Dag dagim she'eni to'em. He says fish, different species of fish I won't taste. Asur bahen. Then he's asur to have any kind of fish. Bein gedolim, bein ketanim. It doesn't matter what size of fish we're talking about. Bein meluchin, bein tefelin. Doesn't matter if they're salted or if they're unsalted. Bein chayin, bein mevushalin, and whether they're raw or cooked. So not even sushi for him. Umutar b'taris trufa, but this chopped hash that they call is okay. It's a fish dish. It's a whole tavshil that involves little pieces of chopped up fish inside it, and that is permitted. Okay, ubatzir, and also in the brine. But hanoda min tzachana, and tzachana is a term that kind of that applies is any kind of fish tavshil, any kind of dish that contains fish. Asa b'taris trufa, then he's also asked to have this taris trufa. Or mutar b'tzir uvamurias. Nonetheless, he still allows the brine and murias. What's the difference between brine between tzir and murias? Um, so that's this. I mean, it seems like this. So tir is like the liquid that oozes out of the fish itself. Okay, and the brine is what's left over after pickling. Okay. Hanoder mitaris trufa asur b'tzir uvamorias. But one who says that he's asur to have taris trufa, he also includes the brine and the fish juice. All of these things that we're saying again, um, it's kind of a long laundry list of things that were common in the time of the Mishnah. The take home from us is not about these particular things. It's about the fact that when if somebody were to make a neder nowadays, you would have to look at what's the common parlance. What
Mm.
does he mean when he says when he says something like if somebody takes a neder from using his phone, does that mean he's allowed to use apps on his phone? So that's you'd have to have a shaila about that if somebody did such a thing. Okay, hanoder min hachalav. Somebody who vows to abstain from milk, mutar bakum, kum being whey. Whey is the thin liquid that's left behind when you make cheese. I don't know if you've seen the process. Yeah, so that's way behind there. Rabbi Yossi Oser, he says even the whey is aser as part of the milk. And the I think the article explained that the difference is really just in terminology. What people in his place the whey what that was left behind was also referred to as milk, so that's why it would be aser in his place. Min hakum, if somebody vows to not have whey, he is permitted to have milk. It's only the whey that's left behind that he's not allowed. So even though if he drinks milk, it necessarily contains the way, but
Right.
nonetheless, that's not the way that he said to abstain from. Aber Shaul omer hanoder min hagvina asur ba bein melucha bein tefela. So if somebody makes a neder from cheese, then he's also not allowed the whey, um, whether it's salted or whether it's unsalted. Oh wait, the commentary is saying not that's not about the whey. It's just about any kind of cheese. Not sure who would be cholek on him. Why would it be just an individual opinion? Give me a second just to look that up because that seems a little odd. Next, we're in Vav. That was Vav Hey. Okay. The cheese is yeah. So right, the article is saying also that he is asked to have any cheese. Although he said the cheese, he didn't mean um all types of cheese. I mean hagvina. So you might have thought that the best type of cheese is salted, and therefore when he said the cheese, it's only about salted cheese. He's saying that it's even unsalted cheese is prohibited. Okay.
They say also all agree that a nether forbidding whey does not apply to milk.
Yes,
Right.
that was the previous phrase in the Mishnah, correct? Hanoder min habasar. If somebody takes a neder from meat, mutta berotev, he's allowed gravy, over kippah, and also in the floaty stuff that's on top of the tavshil, where the spices raise up to go up to the top. The Rabbi Yehuda oser, and he says that's part of the meat. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Masev asar alai Rabbi Tarfon beitzim shenisbashlu imo. Says Rabbi Yehuda, I took a neder from some meat, and I asked Shiloh Rabbi Tarfon about the eggs that were cooked with the meat. So you got like cholent eggs.
Yeah.
Okay. Amrulo, well, yes, that's right. But why? What is your case? V'chein hadavar, ei masai. It's fun when this is Rabbi Yehuda is the one who normally says "Ei Masai," and they said they're now saying to Rabbi Yehuda, "Oh, when is this true? Ei Masai? Bizman she yomar basar ze alai." It's when you answer on yourself a specific piece of meat, not a general case of meat. Okay, if you answered a specific piece of meat, shanoder min hadavar v'nisaref ba'acher yesh bo v'nosin tam asur, then that thing becomes a chatichas asur in itself, and now it's a question of kashrus almost. I mean, it's nedarim, but the rules of kashrus apply to this neder. This is a chatichas isur, and if you can taste it, then it's asur to you. But if you just generally abstain from meat, then your neder is in the general case of things that are called meat, not things that have the taste of meat. Right, and that's the difference between the two cases. All right, back to Gimel Hay.
Where are you? Here we go. Okay, Gimel Hay. If a person if a person said, "Let these saplings be an offering if they are not felled," let this cloak be an offering if it is not burnt, they can be redeemed. The saplings are an offering until they are felled. The cloak is an offering until it is burnt. They cannot be redeemed. One who makes a nether prohibiting those who see the sun is forbidden to benefit eyes from even the blind, for it is referred only to those visible to the sun. One who makes a nether prohibiting dark-headed people is forbidden to benefit from bald people and hoary-haired people, but is permitted to benefit from women and children, since only adult men are called dark-headed.
I think you skipped one. You skipped Zion.
Let's see, where's one Zion? One who makes a net of prohibiting those who see the sun is forbidden to benefit even from the blind, for it referred to those only visible to the sun.
Okay, that's
Okay.
it. Yeah, and that was where we finished for today. Okay, Kasubos, Daled Vav.
The father is not liable for his daughter's support. This exposition did Elazar ben Arazariah was bound before the sages in the academy of Yavna. The sons will inherit and the daughters will be sustained, just as the sons inherit only after the father's death. So are the daughters supported only after their father's death. If he did not write a ketubah for her, a virgin collects 200 zuz and a widow 100 because of the condition established by the court. If he assigned to her in writing a field worth 100 in lieu of the 200 zuz, and he did not write to her all properties that I own a surety for your ketubah, he is nevertheless liable to the condition established by the court. If he did not write for her, if you are captured, I will ransom you and keep you for me as a wife, or in the case of a Kohen's wife, I will bring you back to your city. He is nevertheless liable to this condition established by the court.
Yeah.
All right. Tanis. Okay. Aleph Zion. If these fasts passed and they were not answered with rain, they must increase commerce, construction, planting, betrothals, marriages, and greeting one another as befits people sanctioned by the Omnipresent. To distinguish individuals doing their fasting until Nisan is over, and after Nisan ended, rain fell, is a symptom of curse, as it is said, is today not the wheat harvest.
Just by the way, parenthetic note, the fact that we're still getting rain now after Pesach is still okay because it's saying over here only after Nisan is over, is it considered a Siman Klala.
I was thinking that it would be over already, but I guess not. No.
Yeah,
What is it?
well, there's still a 40% rain, a chance of rain this coming Shabbos, which is first day of ER.
Oh, wow. Okay. What is the order of service for fast days? They would bring out the ark to the town square and place ashes upon the ark. The head of the Nasi and the head of the chief of the court, and everyone else places ashes upon his own head. The elders among them would preach words of inspiration before them. O brethren, it is not stated regarding the people of Nineveh, and God saw the sackcloth in their fasting, but rather, and God saw the deeds, and they repented their ways. And in his admonition, he states, now rend your hearts and not your clothing. Then they began to pray. They sent before the ark a well-versed elder who has children and whose house is empty, so his heart should be fully devoted in prayer. He recites before them 24 blessings, the 18 which are recited every day, and 6 more which are added.
Yeah.
And okay, stop over here. It's right over here. Okay. Misa Shani. Misa Shani, Dalad base. Misa Shani must be redeemed at the cheap price, as the shopkeeper buys, but not as he sells. But at the rate the money changer accepts small change, and not at the rate he provides small change. Misa Shani may not be redeemed in a lump. If its price is known, it may be redeemed according to the valuation of one witness. If its value is not known, it must be redeemed according to the valuation of 3. As for instance, wine that formed a film, produce has gone bad, or coins that have rusted. If the owner says for a seller and another says for a seller, the owner has precedence because he adds a fifth. If the owner says for a seller and another says for a seller and an isser, that of the seller and an isser has precedence since he adds to the principal. If one redeems his own Misa Sheni, he must add a fifth to it, whether it is his or whether it was given to him as a present. One may cunningly act regarding Misa Sheni. How so? A man says to his son or daughter who are of age, or to his Hebrew manservant, his manservant, here is the money, and redeem for yourself this Misa Sheni. But he may not say to his son or daughter who are minors, or to his Canaanite manservant or maidservant, because the hand is as his hand. Okay.
Okay.
And on to
I am.
the Gayam. Okay. A Baharis the size of a grid has contained a mikia less than a lentil. If the Baharis expanded, it becomes tame. If it receded, it becomes tahor. If the mikia expanded, or the Baharis becomes tame. If the mikia receded, Ramea renders it tame, and the sages render it tahor because a nega does not expand inwards. Baharis larger than a gris contain more than a lentil of living skin. If they grew or receded, the Baharis is tame as long as they do not recede below the minimum size. Baharis, the size of the gris, is surrounded by living skin. The width of a lentil, another Baharis is outside the living skin. The inner one is confined and the outer one is confirmed. Said Rabbi Yossi, the mikkah is not a symptom of tumah or the outer nega since the Baharis is inside. If the mikkah receded or disappeared, Rabbi Gamil says if it diminished on the inner side of the side of expansion of the inner nega, and the outer nega becomes tahor. But if it diminished from the outer side, the outer nega becomes tahor, the inner nega shall be confined. Mekiva says either case is tahor. Okay.
No, my coffee went down the wrong way there.
All right. Okay. Um, Okay. Gimel Yud Gimel Tesvav. Everything is known, permission is granted, and the world is judged with goodness. Yet everything is in accordance with the abundance of deeds. He used to say, everything is given with a guarantor, and the net is spread over all the living. The shop is open, the merchant extends credit, the ledger is open, and the hand writes. Whoever wishes to borrow may come and borrow. The collectors make the rounds constantly every day and collect payment from the person, whether he realizes it or not. They have what to rely upon. The judgment is a truthful judgment, and everyone is ready for the banquet. From Elazar ben Azariah says, if there is no Torah, there is no proper conduct. If there is no proper conduct, there is no Torah. If there is no wisdom, there is no fear of God. If there is no fear of God, there is no wisdom. If there is no understanding, there is no knowledge. And if there is no knowledge, there is no understanding. If there is no flour, there is no Torah. And if there is no Torah, there is no flour. He used to say, anyone whose wisdom exceeds his actions, to what is he likened? To a tree whose branches are numerous, but whose roots are few. Then the wind comes and uproots it and turns it upside down, as it is stated. He will be like a lone tree in the desert and will not see when goodness comes. It dwells in parched lands, in the wilderness, in a salty, uninhabited land. But one whose actions exceed his wisdom is like what is he likened? To a tree whose branches are few, but whose roots are numerous. Even if all the winds of the world come to blow against it, they could not budge it from its place. As it is stated, he will be like a tree planted near water, which spreads out its roots along a brook and does not see when heat comes, whose foliage is ever fresh, and he will not worry in a year of drought and will not be reducing fruit. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
And
Right.
tomorrow we finish Avos, and then we go to where?
No, go and finish up. There must be a second volume in your set.
Yes, there is. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I see you
Okay,
tomorrow. Have a
see ya.
great day.
Bye.